Welcome back to this week's exciting episode, the Shakedown, the first trip the caravan is making. There's a few things that we haven't got yet on the caravan ready, but we thought we'd give it a go at a campground. It is campground ready and we were desperate to get away. First impressions, the caravan is towing it really straight. I can definitely feel it's on there. We've had a Jayco in the past which was 2.7 tonne, and then I've also towed some lighter English caravans, and this sort of feels like it's somewhere in between. Weight wise, which is good, and that's hopefully whereabouts it sits. We don't have our rear view camera on yet, which is definitely something that we'll be adding quite quickly once we get home. The brake controller, we're using the Elec Brakes brake controller. I don't love it. One thing we have to do to be able to make the brake controller work is have a phone plugged in constantly with the app open. Seems a bit ridiculous, and it also means that if you want to override the brakes and make them turn on, if you've got sway or anything, your phone has to be on with the app open. We will be changing the brake controller to a different brake controller in an upcoming episode. Okay, let's see. So far, so good. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear. We've had a draw failure.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. Oh dear. Okay, we need to figure out how this fell out and do something about it once we get to camp. I guess if that's the only thing that has fallen down and broken, touch wood, we might be okay. So once we get to the campground, we'll go over a few other things and see how this caravan performs. We used to check the level on the floor, but we've decided now that the best option is to check the level on the cooking area, because that's where it really matters.
Should be good.
Should be unlocked now. Turn on the lights.
Turn on the lights back then.
There we go, is that better?
Yeah.
Got some lights back there.
Yeah.
The worst ones.
Too long.
You're going downhill.
Oh.
Disaster struck again. The diesel heater. Watch out, Mum and Dad.
Are you filming?
The diesel leaked
Oh, it's on
everywhere.
there.
The diesel didn't leak everywhere.
Practically everywhere.
Just a little bit out there where it was splashing, obviously.
We think the spin weld is leaking, or the top of the spin
I
weld
think it was the plug isn't holding it sealed, so we're just going to need to well, obviously also that's where the actual inlet is going to be going in from the outside, so that will be revised anyway. All these things good to find out now before we go to the South Island for 6 weeks. This is one of the most expensive campsites that you can probably get in New Zealand, but for good reason. As you can see, there is an amazing water slide that keeps the kids entertained. There's movies that they play a couple of times a day. There's a grotto underneath that cave there that is 5 meters deep, and the pool itself is all thermally heated. We are in a geothermal area in Taupō here, and the pool is heated to 35 degrees. It's an absolutely epic campground. Another reason we chose this campground for a shakedown is because it's one of the few campgrounds that you can get grey water connections at your site, so we can test everything out properly. Like at the moment, while I'm cooking dinner, I can hear that the water pump is repriming every now and again. So either we have a leak or there's air in the pipe somehow. So I'm just turning on the water, and that means that I'm not worried about our grey tank filling up and being full and having to empty that out. It's just water straight in and straight out here, which is so cool to have. And more campgrounds around New Zealand are doing this, which is so cool to see. Makes living in your caravan so much nicer. It just means you can use a shower and use your sink and whatnot just like you would at home. Obviously we're a little bit different here in New Zealand compared to say Australia, because we do have to have grey tanks usually, so maybe it's not as big a deal, but I suppose you're always limited by something, whether it's your grey tank, your fresh water, or your toilet. Something will limit you as to how long you can spend on the road, and we've tried to extend all of those things with the way that this caravan's built.
Dinner's good, Mum. Great, Mum.
Barbecue worked well.
A solid option for next holidays. I actually can't believe we're eating chicken skewers in the caravan. Literally, about 7 hours ago, your tools were still over there. And now we're eating dinner in it. Yeah.
Yep.
Do we need to like duct tape it together or something?
No, just the connection. Once we use the hot water for a little while in the sink, one of the John Guest fittings just mustn't have been completely connected properly and started spraying water underneath the sink. So managed to turn off the pump quick enough, and
wonderful.
There was water getting very close to all the electrics, so we're just cleaning that up now. So the water just came out over there, and luckily we've lifted up the electrics, so it's just a little bit wet down there, but mostly okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so water pump. See if it's
Towel's ready.
reprimes. I just turned the pump back on.
We're all good over here. I'm touching wood.
Yep. Out there.
Out that one too.
Can't really tell.
It's leaking out there.
Yeah, but why is it dripping out the grey pipe there as well? Another leak in the
So look at that, it just comes straight off.
in the waste of the sink. It doesn't appear to actually really screw on properly, which is super annoying. This has got thread tape on it already.
Well, it's had thread tape on it. That thread tape has now come off.
And it just doesn't seem to hold. A trip to the hardware store tomorrow.
Yay. He already goes to the hardware store enough at home, so does he have to on holiday?
I'm just currently using capillary action to get the water out from underneath the toe kick. Going to test the shower because we've had a couple of issues with the sink, with water leaks and water draining. So we're going to test the shower, and this is also now for testing the hot water and seeing how long we can kind of get out of a shower. I don't think that's meant to go like that. After a eventful 2 days at Taupō, we packed up the caravan to go home. Luke was finally off his deathbed and we were armed with a list of items to fix before our big trip south. As well as all of the plumbing mishaps, the battery also went flat overnight. All because Luke in his man flu haze forgot to switch the power on at the pole. But all in all, it was a successful shakedown. Nothing failed that was catastrophic. Everything was easily fixed or replaced for a much better part. Stay tuned for the next video where we install our Carefree electric awning. We'll see you in the next one. And if you've managed to make it this far, make sure you please subscribe.